Hello, loves! How are you all? Today, we will talk about fruits. So, this is rambutan. I have it here. Hindi ko pa kinakain to. I'm not yet eating this. But, this is just to show you na yun yung topic natin for today. We will talk about fruits while I am preparing my food. And yung food na i-prepare ko ngayon is actually already on my 22nd hour fasting. So, kahapon, I last ate around 3:30 in the afternoon. And then, pagkatapos nun, hindi na ako kumain pa. So, this is going to be my first meal at magpe-prepare tayo doon. And while preparing, I will talk about fruits. Bakit natin nilagay sa caution list yung fruits natin? At bakit na kahit sinabi pa natin these are natural foods, eto ay binigay sa atin ng Diyos, binigay ng nature, pero bakit ba na hindi tayo pwedeng mag-unlimited fruits unlike what we used to think? Okay? So before that, meron na akong rambutan dito, but I don't intend on eating this. And what I have here actually is yung pork humba. So this is frozen pork na naluto na. Iinitin ko lang. This was prepared by Ate Alma, yung staff natin sa cafe. And nilutuan niya ako. So, iinitin ko lang. And also, I will make a Spanish sardines pasta. Sa lahat ng pasta, yun talaga yung gusto ko. So, wala akong mga kung ano-anong mga ingredients dito. Just a plain Shiratake pasta. And a can of Spanish sardines. Meron akong isang paboritong brand na Philippine-made na brand na yung lasa niya, kahit pa yung price niya is just from a canned sardines, but yung kanyang lasa parang gourmet, na parang ano talaga, parang yung nasa bote, yung nasa bottle, it tastes like that. Medyo kulang lang sa asin, so just a little salt and okay na. But since yung problem lang sa mga canned tuna and canned goods, no, because these are processed at alam nyo na based on our previous videos that I actually eat this right now kasi nga nasa on isolation. So wala akong luxury of choosing food so much. So I cannot remember the last time except siguro sa kakaunting spam na nakain ko a few days ago, but prior to that hindi ko na talaga naaalala when was the last time that I ate canned foods. So, paminsan-minsan lang. And with this recipe, very easy lang. But noon, nung unang panahon, when I still don't know anything about nutrition and all that, kinakain ko talaga lahat ng sabaw, lahat ng oil. We are fond of oily foods. But now, when I learned that these can't good, no? Yung oil na ginagamit nila, vegetable oil, and usually soy-based oil. So, since nangyari na yan, hindi na namin. So, usually, tinatapon ko na majority of it. Hindi ko na nilalagay sa aking pagkain. So, dito siya. It's really, really good. Kung sa lasa lang, no? So, I hope meron namang iba na in natural oil. So, yung wala talagang added oil, yung oil mismo ng fish. So, those are also good. So, and then, ang ating, we will just prepare this shiratake. So, ito na yung sainginan ko. So, this is just very small, no? Kung titingnan nyo. Very small lang to. Maliit lang. So, isa lang, ganito. And then, we will just wash it. Pagkatapos natin i-wash, okay, i-drain lang. And then, we let it simmer. I-allow lang natin siya. Yung other than this, I will just add maybe cheese na lang. And that's already good to go. That's the very basic component of our Spanish sardines pasta. At yung ginagawa ko usually, hindi ko nilalagay lahat. Dinudurog ko yung maybe 60%, but I usually leave 1, 2, or 3 pieces para panglagay sa on top, para pang garnish, para maganda siya tingnan. And of course, you can still eat it. For those who are not very conscious like about their mayonnaise intake at saka hindi gumagawa ng kanilang sariling mayo, this will actually taste really good with some mayo. But right now, I'm minimizing as much as I can yung intake ko ng processed foods and all that. So this is just the basic shiratake and then Spanish sardines. I'll get some cheese later. I have parmesan pala, para meron naman tayong kaunting kaligayahan. And then the pork, yun lang. So now, going back to fruits, bakit ba nasa caution list yung fruits? So yung fruits natin, nasa caution list yan because kahit pa natural sila sa ating nature, they are, yun nga, sabi natin, created by God, provided to us. Pero sa totoo lang, nung unang panahon, the way our body is used to having fruits is not the same kung ano yung pagkakaroon natin ng prutas ngayon. It's not like 2.5 million years ago or kahit mga 200 million years ago na lang, hindi pa tayo nagtatanim. As humans, we are wanderers, yung naglalakad lang, nomadics, okay? Mga walang permanent address, kung saan lang mapadpad ng kanilang mga paa. So, kung sino sa inyo dyan, yung mga sobrang mga backpackers, yung excited ng gumala kasi na stranded because of pandemic, know that you are a natural, no, na descendant ng ating mga ninuno, which are really nomadic. Yung ang mga walang permanent address. Permanence, domestication, actually, it's more on a modern day concept. But nung unang panahon, we used to travel, we used to be in places na kung saan man tayo makakahanap ng, say for example, merong more sustainable na source of food. But before, wala talagang ganong properties. Except for example, maybe sa mga coastal areas, but we are looking into millions of years kasi. And before, wala pang masyadong coastal areas. But anyhow, yung fruits, yung idea ng fruits na pagkain natin is yung fruits lang na nakikita natin as we travel to places, as we moved from one place to another. At hindi yun natin parang naplaplano. Depende lang kung merong fruits available that time. Walang fertilizer, remember? Walang mga flowering sprays, walang pesticides, okay? Wala nga mismong kahit simple planting. We don't do that. If you can imagine, yung primitive phase natin before, hindi talaga nag-iisip or we were not yet that developed to consider into planting because the idea of planting already came late sa ating evolution. So, nakadependent talaga tayo kung meron lang tayong makita. So, fruits are available before na sana yung katawan natin at least once a year lang. Kasi yun lang naman talaga yung natural na pagbunga ng mga fruits. And to think hindi yun yung fruits natin ngayon. In fact, yung fruits na nakasanayan natin dito, ano yung number 1 sa Pilipinas? Saging, 'di ba? So saging yung fruits na natin dito, yung pinakauso natin dito. And to think that banana is hindi siya natural. It's already a very processed ones. GMO na 'yan, na sobrang tamis, sobrang liit ng seeds. Kasi yung primitive na type of banana, alam nyo ba niya yung kaniyang mga seeds is gaganito kalalaki? Sobrang lalaki. Tapos hindi siya ganon katamis. So those alone are good with our modernization. Pero eventually, hindi na siya naging natural for us. Ano yung signal sa ating katawan? Bakit nating nasabi na hindi sanay yon yung katawan natin with fruits? It's because yung fruits naturally mataas sa fructose. So, ano yung fructose? Fructose is a natural sugar or sweetener found in fruits. So, a little lesson about carbohydrates. Yung carbohydrates natin, depende yan sa chemical structure, okay? It's just a carbon ring kung sa chemistry. Pero yung carbohydrates divided into simple sugars, meron siyang complex carbohydrates at meron ding very complex carbohydrates. So sa simple sugars, pwede yan yung mga isang molecule lang like glucose, yun yung pinakauso, 'di ba? Sucrose, yung sucrose, ano yun? Dalawa. Glucose plus fructose naging sucrose. Okay? So, yun yung table sugar natin. So, actually, yung table sugar natin, dalawang klaseng simple sugar yan na combined. The fructose and the glucose. Okay? So, saan ang galing yung fructose? Fructose is a fruit sugar. Okay? What else? Ano pang ibang klase ng simple sugar? Like, milk sugar. Anong milk sugar? Lactose, galactose. Okay? Those are milk sugar. So, but in simpler terms, meron tayong mga simple sugar sa ating katawan. But the currency na ginagamit talaga ng ating body for energy, for example, is the glucose. Pero, ano naman ginagamit ng ating katawan kung walang glucose? Like, say, for example, fructose. Actually, ang fructose, isang organ lang sa ating katawan ang nakakagamit nito. And this is our liver. Yung liver po natin, siya lang ang only organ capable of metabolizing or using fructose. Kung wala kang kinakain, wala ka talagang ibang kinakain, puro fruits lang, then you can convert that fructose into energy. Okay? You can easily convert that fructose into energy. However, if you are eating fruits on top of rice, on top of chicken, on top of fish, on top of everything else, then yung fructose na yon na nasa prutas mo, kasi nga nilagyan mo ng prutas, kasi akala mo, the moment you eat fruits, you will already be having a healthy, complete meal. But what you will usually just do is to just add an extra energy na hindi na naman magagamit ng katawan mo. So what your body will do, especially your liver will do to that fructose, is actually process it into storage form. Iso-store niya. At yung katawan natin, hindi siya marunong mag-store ng fructose. It's because walang storage form yan. Because it's going to be very bulky. Kung lalagyan mo, say, for example, 1 kilo ng fructose, nasa ano lang yan, 4,000 kilocalories. Ilalagay mo ba dyan lahat sa iyong liver na you think your liver is less than 1 kilo lang nga? So, impossible yan. So, your body will actually convert fructose into storage form na kung saan ito ay very dense, na kahit sobrang liit siya, pero sobra-sobra yung kanyang energy at pwede siyang ma-convert into something flexible na pwedeng magawang fatty acids, pwede siyang magawing vitamins minsan, pwede siyang panglaban pang-repair sa ating katawan. And what is that storage form? That storage form is actually fats, okay? Specifically in the form of triglycerides, okay? So, yung fructose po na sobra-sobra na sa ating intake ng pagkain, that is no longer enough for us. That is no longer sobra-sobra na kumbaga when it comes to our energy intake, ay nako-convert yan into triglycerides. And kapag naging triglycerides na yan, at hindi mo na naman biniburn, kasi nga, yung trabaho mo ngayon, bossing ka na managerial level ka na, hindi ka na umaalis ng iyong desk, you always have people na to ask kung ano yung dapat gawin, o di kaya from trabaho noon na sobrang layo, ngayon nag-work from home na. So wala nang masyadong physical activity. So wala na ring walk in the park kasi nga yung park is also closed. So ano yung mangyayari? So all of those energy that you have, the fructose that's now converted into triglycerides sa iyong katawan, ay masastock lang yan sa iyong liver. So yung liver mo, mapupuno yan. Yung liver cells mismo, they are very accommodating na kahit pa hindi sila fat cell talaga, they become fat. Okay? So, yung nucleus nga niya, to some extent, napupunta na lang sa gilid kasi napupuno na siya ng taba. And the moment that those are already overflowing sa iyong liver, it can become what we consider na as fatty liver. At kapag hindi yan naagapan, you don't transform it into something better, and you don't use it, tapos wala pang fasting sa buhay mo, hindi ka nagpa-fasting kasi nga akala natin yung pinaka-importante sa ating buhay ay kumain lang ng kumain. So, wala tayong chance na ma-burn yung extra triglycerides na yon. The worst part after it becomes a fatty liver, kaya magkakaroon na yan ng damage. Yun na yung tinatawag nating NASH, non-alcoholic fatty liver. Okay? So, this scenario, kung titingnan mo, hindi ka umiinom. Diba? Hindi ka umiinom, hindi ka nanigarilyo. Tapos, umiiwas ka rin sa mga matatamis. Tapos, hindi ka kasi member ka na ng Life Without Rice, hindi ka na rin nagra-rice. And then, nakita mo, hindi ka na rin nagsusoft drinks. Yung iniinom mo, yung mga na lang, 0 calories, 0 sweeteners, yung mga ganun. Pero bakit ang taas pa rin ng triglycerides? Bakit meron pa rin akong fatty liver? So, try to look at the fruits that you are eating, okay? And I know na hindi naman ito para sa lahat because kakaunti lang naman talaga yung mga nagsusobra talaga when it comes to fruit intake. But I think this is more common among mga middle-aged and elderlies and mga tito, tita, lolo, lola natin because those genre, yun talaga yung pinalaki na yung prutas yung pinaka-healthy. And when they come to my clinic, kitang-kita ko yan. They know how to avoid sweets. Hindi na sila nakakain kahit pa yung bacolod is made of everything sweet and nice when it comes to cafes and cake houses that's everywhere na very affordable pa pero sobrang grabe talaga yung dito, yung dessert scene here. They know, they avoid that. But what do they don't avoid? every day, mapupunta sila ng tindahan para bumili ng prutas. Never na uubusan ng saging, ng, ano ba yung mga paborito? Saging, apple, at saka locals, mangga, and sometimes there's avocado, but actually yung avocado, that's the least of the Filipino favorites unless naka-low carb ka. Kasi nga hindi matamis. At ano yung idea natin with avocado? We only eat avocado na merong condensed milk, merong sugar, merong powdered milk. Dessert ang tingin natin sa avocado. Without all of those sweeteners, wala tayong pakialam sa avocado noon. But did you know that in other places like Europe, Mexico, US, Australia, they don't consider avocado as dessert. Ang feeling nila sa avocado, para siyang food talaga na hindi siya prutas, but they eat it something salty nga. So, marami silang recipe, at yung isa sa mga nila doon, yung guacamole, yung parang dinudurog, tapos nilalagyan nila ng tomatoes, onions, and then salt and pepper, yung ganon. So, sinasama nila sa kanilang main dish. Okay? So, yung main dish nila with avocado is actually hindi talaga matamis. Hindi siya dessert. Pinoy lang ang nagko-consider ng avocado and dessert. And if you see some shows or some posts, no, na like for example from other countries, they are so excited when they discover that avocado can be made into an ice cream or can be made into like something, mga kung ano-ano dyan na matamis. Because they don't know, because they grew up na yung avocado, hindi siya more on dessert unlike us. Anyway, going back to fruits, no, yun talaga yung pinaka-common din na cause ng mga bakit na kahit yung mga tito-tita natin na very health conscious na kumbaga, yet they find themselves still very high in total cholesterol, very high in triglycerides. To think, nagsa-statins na yan, ha? Kumakain na yan sila ng statins. Umiinom na pala. Nagugutom na talaga siguro ako ng mga kain-kain na yung pinag-iisip ko dito. Okay? So, yung statins, they are already taking that at tumataas pa rin yung kanilang triglycerides. And maybe try to ask them. Yung pinakauso nakikita ko, yung mga tatay na kahit yung mga arms and legs nila is hindi ganon kalaki, but yung tiyan nila sobrang tigas. Yung parang, alam mo talaga, yung pressure inside, kapag gaganinin mo, parang lumalaban talaga yung tiyan. So, those are indications of visceral fats. Kasi, after sa liver na lumaki na, for example, kapag lumaki na yung liver, hindi na matolerate, it continue to produce fats. At since by nature, yung Asians, hindi talaga fat former. So, yung nangyayari is nagfo-form sila in places na hindi sila dapat. And those are the most dangerous parts. At yung dangerous parts na yon is yung naka-cover sa ating organs, sa ating intestines, sa ating liver, sa ating kidneys, especially inside our peritoneum, yung intra-abdominal cavity natin. Kaya sobrang laki yon. So, the moment you have that, especially kung alam mong hindi umiinom. And of course, no, given na kapag umiinom ka, the process of making triglycerides ng iyong liver from non-fat sources, yun yung importante dito. Kahit pa umiiwas ka sa taba, kahit pa hindi ka nagmamantika, pwede kang magkaroon ng fatty liver. It's because your liver has the capacity to make its own. Yun yung tawag nating de novo lipogenesis. So, ano yung de novo lipogenesis? De novo meaning from scratch. Yun yung parang layman's term niya yun. Lipogenesis, so, lipo is lipids. So, ano yung Genesis? Diba? First chapter of the Bible, Genesis. It is creation. So, de novo lipogenesis is the creation of lipid coming from scratch. Okay? So, ganun ka-amazing yung ating katawan. So, imagine, kahit pa po na sobrang iwas nyo sa taba, but you are not conscious with, number one, of course, alcohol intake. And of course, fruit intake. Although, pang last na actually yung fruit. Yung isang mga delikado na hindi natin alam na made of fructose are all the desserts, the sodas, yung milk tea. Nako, yung milk tea. Sinong na-scam ng milk tea? Ako, na-scam ba ako ng milk tea? I think hindi masyado. Kasi yung mga panahon na nauso yung milk tea, parang feeling ko ang tanda ko na. O di kaya, naka-ano na ako, naka-start na ako mag-low carb. So, hindi na ako masyadong na-scam sa milk tea. So, one of the first foods actually that I made into low carb are milk tea. So, meron tayong mga low carb milk tea recipes dyan sa ating Life Without Rice. Okay? So, pwede kayong tumingin dyan. Tingnan nyo lang. At marami kayong makukuhang recipe dyan na low carb, no? So, that's a really good group and it's being managed right now kasi nga nakalive ako ng ating mga admin. So, I would like to say hi to all of our low carb Feasting and Fasting Community admins and Life Without Rice admins. Nandiyan yan si Kuya Gibo, si Kuya Oli, si Chloe, si Marigina, si Ma'am Rosette. We have also Sir Paul, Sir Alan. So, we have Mama Lu. So, marami po dyan. So, eto, makakatulong yan sa inyo. And the fact that fruits are viewed by Filipinos as the real source talaga ng nutrition natin, ay dun tayo parang nagkakamali. It's because when we don't consider the other factors, pwedeng yun mismo yung downfall natin. Okay? So, speaking of fruits, hindi natin sinasabi na hindi ka na kumain ng prutas ever in your life. Okay? Hindi naman ganyan. OA naman yan. Of course, that's why nasa caution list natin siya. Hindi siya parang never list or yung danger list talaga. Nasa caution list lang natin siya because we can actually accommodate fruits. Okay? But hindi dapat na nasa safe list. Kasi kapag the moment that we already feel that fruits are safe, baka 1 kilong watermelon, isang ano mo lang, pang snacks mo lang yan. O di kaya, isang buong manggang hinog. O, ilan yung mga mauubos mong manggang hinog, di ba? Ang dali-daling maubos niyan. And that's already going beyond yung limit natin sa low carb, which is 50 grams of net carbs. So, merong mga dietitian, nutritionist na sinasabi na fruits are healthy because they are natural na sugar. Pero, yung ating idea kasi, we are not just looking at either natural or hindi natural sugar. Sugar is still sugar. And then, yun nga, yung ating idea kasi, it's not just about nutrition that we know now. But our basis is about evolutionary nutrition. So, wag kayong makig-away ha. We are not against anybody. It's nothing personal. But yung ating lang kasi, yung pinag-aaralan natin, hindi about standard nutrition. Okay? At kung aawayin nila tayo, kasi nga, yung pinaglalaban natin, hindi standard nutrition, sabihin nyo lang, hindi naman kami nag-i-impose sa iba. Okay? And don't worry, mas marami pa rin naniniwala sa inyo. So, hindi namin kayo kukumpentansyahan at hindi kayo mawawala ng client. Kasi nga, mas popular pa rin naman yung standard diet. Tayo ay minority. So, we just share whatever we can for those who are looking for alternatives kumbaga or maybe better answers perhaps. So sila yon, yung mga tulad natin noon na for the longest time have been following the standard guidelines but we are not very happy with the result. Masakitin pa rin tayo. Ako, doktor ako pero umiinom din ako ng gamot noon. And now, sinasabi ko before na okay lang yan, Nay. Wala kang baguhin sa iyong pagkain kasi nga may gamot ka naman. And that's what I've been saying before kasi ganun din ako. Nakadepende ako sa gamot. But now, I no longer depend on medicine. Nung nag-quarantine ako dito, wala akong dalang gamot except for the vitamins lang na the things that I know I may not be able to get everything from my food. Like for example, yung pagkain ko ngayon, wala naman tong masyadong vitamin C. So maybe baka iinom ako. Pwede rin hindi. So those are just parang security lang on my side. But anyhow, yung idea natin na with fruits as yun yung end all be all natin kumbaga when it comes to our food intake, hindi talaga tama. The problem with fruits, no, kapag nasusobrahan ito, specifically when I say fruits, hindi ako against sa fruits alone ha, but just the fructose. The worst kind of fructose is the high fructose corn syrup. Yun yung nilalagay sa soft drinks. Yun yung nilalagay na sa mga fraps. Yung sinasabihan na how many % of sugar. But nakita mo yung liquid sugar. It's like yung sweetener na syrup. Those are mostly made of high fructose corn syrup at isa yon sa mga pinaka-highly inflammatory foods. So, yung mangyayari kapag ganyan, your body will not be able to metabolize that. Kumakain ka. So, kahit pa sinasabi mo, bakit konti lang yun naman kinain ko, prutas na nga yung kinakain ko, or uminom lang ako ng isang ganito, but otherwise, 1 meal a day or 2 meals na lang ako, pero bakit ang laki pa rin ng tiyan ko? Try to look at your fruit intake because that fructose is actually locking. Nilalak niya yung mga visceral fats mo sa katawan hanggat hindi talaga siya magagamit. Now, I understand na merong mga fruitarian, di ba? Na meron yung, na puro prutas lang yung gusto nila. Yun lang yung kinakain nila. And some of them are really healthy. Kumbaga, like, they look fit, hindi malaki yung tiyan nila. And it's because that's the only thing that they ate. So, yung fruits na yun, nako-convert nila into energy. But for many people who are not capable of sticking to just one meal. Okay? So, of course, yung fruit na yon, that's already on top of another, and that will just pile up into extra storage form in the form of fats, especially the bad kind of fats. Okay? Kung meron man kami yung prutas na kakainin, you limit it to avocado, and then mature coconut meat, or to some extent berries, okay? Pero kahit nga yung mga berries, frozen berries, you see me, for example, I cook from time to time, I have berries, it's because merong available dito na frozen shop. But by nature, kung walang ganyan, hindi kailangan maghanap. Hindi tayo kailangan maghanap. Kung sasabihin naman natin, hindi avocado season ngayon, so wala akong avocado, edi wag. So kung wala, no avocado, no problem. Nothing is essential when it comes to the vitamins and minerals from fruits na hindi mo makukuha sa meat and other products or sa mga gulay. So, hindi natin dapat kailangang maging fixated sa isang bagay. Okay? We are talking about fruits right now just to put emphasis. Kasi may mga taong iba na just because na meron silang allowance for the day when it comes to fructose, tapos i-maximize nila yon. So, I have a list here. I think I will post it later in the comment section. Or if you want, you can just search my name, no? Dr. Josephine Grace Rojo. Fruits. Ganyan lang. Lalabas yan. So, meron akong post na ganito before. I think it was already last year. Matagal na to eh. So, how many grams of net carbs per 100 grams? Okay? So, per 100 grams, ibig sabihin, yung isang kilo, 1,000 grams, no? So, if you can imagine, kung ang isang kilo ng mangga ay apat yan, so you roughly divide it. So, isang kalahati lang actually, isang pisngi lang ng mangga, 100 grams na yon. Ganon karami. So, per isang pisngi ng mangga, for example, meron siyang net carbs na, hanapin ko dito, nasa na yan? Yeah. Meron siyang net carbs of 13 to 15 grams. Okay? So, 13 to 15 grams, so, may ilagay natin 15. You always divide it by 4. Bakit natin i-divide by 4? Because 4 grams is equal to 1 teaspoon. Isang kutsarita na yon. So, it's up to you. Before you eat that isang pisngi ng manggang hinog, okay? Try to consider, willing ba akong kumain ng katumbas ng halos 4 na kutsaritang asukal ngayon na ilalagay ko sa aking katawan? And mind you, at a specific time, na, for example, that your blood sugar is between 70 to 100 grams per DL, yung random blood sugar natin, okay? At any specific time na ganon yung blood sugar mo, alam nyo ba na kung i-drain yon sa iyong katawan during that time, at isasala yon and then kukunin yung sugar component, that amount is only equivalent to only 4 grams or 1 teaspoon of sugar. At hindi mo kailangang mag-supply niyan. Hindi mo kailangang parating kumain just to continuously provide for that. Because yung liver natin, again, we are talking about our liver. Our liver is so amazing na kayang-kaya niyang gumawa na naman ng glucose coming from other sources. So, hindi natin kailangang magrason, hindi natin kailangang maghanap ng excuse na for us to keep on eating sugar para hindi bumagsak yung iyong blood sugar. No, that is just the sugar addiction talking, or maybe ignorance talking. So also, we are not that harsh naman. So that's why we are doing this, to educate. So for those people who are having symptoms na nagkakaroon sila ng parang degree of hypoglycemia, so try to consider if totoong hypoglycemia yon, if you are not taking any medications. But if you are already taking medications, then maybe it's really hypoglycemia. So kapag meron ng hypoglycemia, that's also the reason why we do not want anybody just going about their day. Magluluto na lang ako ng itlog kasi wala lang para meron pa akong lulutuin dito. Pero I think I cannot finish this. Hatian ko si Maming. Pupunta dito si Maming in a while eh. So, yung idea is, if you are already taking medications, then you should do it the guided way. Ayaw namin ilagay kayo sa peligro. So, marami tayong low-carb doctors in our community. We have Doc Fee, Doc Mike Atencio, so mag-asawa yan from Palawan, both practicing low-carb. We have Doc Suzette Encarnado. She is staying in Oman, but she does online consultation. We have my good friend, for those who are looking for OB, Dr. Kim Saskia Espirito. Pwede nyong hanapin yan sa Facebook. We also have Dr. Lisel Ganancial. So, for those na merong mga chronic pains, chronic back pains, na mga hindi mawaring sakit na kung ano-ano, Dr. Lisel Ganancial is actually an anesthesiologist by specialty. So, she can help you with your pain management. Who else? Dr. Brian Castillo. So, Dr. Brian Castillo is our in-house pediatrician. And actually, marami tayong pediatrician practicing na in Cebu. We have Dr. Nerissa De Parini. Hello po, Doktora, if ever you're watching. We also have Dr. Gay in Mindanao, and also Dr. Vic and Dr. Vic and Vin, no? Na nasa Davao naman. And of course, my great friend and my study buddy, Dr. Shera Elefante, na kasama ko nag-study, kaya kami ngayon hindi nagki-clinic because we are on our study leave. But since I miss you, or baka nagpo-procrastinate na lang ako, kaya ako nagla-live ng ganito. So this is my food. Nandiyan na yung aking pork chop na humba na ininit ko lang. And also my very easy na Spanish sardines pasta. So, and with some cheese on it. So, yun lang. And then, nandito yung egg natin. So, for those who have medications already, try to not go about it. Kung sobrang confident kayo sa sarili ninyo, at least do your own research. Mag-allot muna kayo ng lahat ng possible questions. I-consider nyo lahat ng options before doing anything. We don't want you taking the risk. And we have support. We have low-carb feasting and fasting community. Kung nahihiya kayong magtanong, you can actually just search the search bar. Ilagay nyo lang doon yung topic, and then lalabas doon lahat ng conversations about low carb, about fasting, kung kailan mag-break yung fast, kung anong gagawin sa gamot, if merong ganyan, nandun naman. But of course, iba-iba kada tao. So, we appreciate lahat ng mga silent readers, lahat ng mga silent followers, yung mga nakatingin ngayon ng live natin na kahit hindi ko makita kung ano yung pangalan, or even if you are not sharing it but you are just listening to it on your background or whatever, know that we appreciate you, but we don't want you taking the risk if ever you need guidance, okay? And if ever you need guidance, kung gusto nyo talagang guided, okay, you can have our coaches. Maraming coaches ngayon na very knowledgeable how to do it. Kahit pasabihin natin you already have an idea with low carb, but iba yung meron kang nakakausap, kahit everyday lang, send mo lang sa kanila yung kinakain mo, and you just don't know, baka pwede mo pang ma-improve yun, okay? Because they have the experience, and they also have the knowledge, scientific knowledge, and most importantly, they have the patience. Not everybody can coach, I tell you. Hindi ako pwedeng mag-coach, okay? So, for those who are thinking na magpapa-coach sila sa akin, wala po akong pasensya sa ganyang bagay. That's why I'm doing it this way, kasi po, coaching is not for me, but I would love to share this knowledge to coaches, because I know they are the ones who can directly get in touch with you and can help you in your personal journey, personal level kumbaga. And of course, if you want naman, we also have the masterclass na rin para matulungan kayo. So in the masterclass, meron tayong pang diabetes, isang group yon, hypertension, fatty liver, weight loss, obesity, at ngayon, yung very special natin ngayon, GERD. So I think all of our participants, enrollees natin will be very surprised kung ano yung platform ng ating GERD ngayon, especially on the 3rd week. Kasi we have 3 weeks, the 21-day masterclass. The first 14 days is common to all. So, the first 14 days, meron din pong masterclass for low carb and fasting masterclass only. So, ito yung parang jump start, especially for those na walang sakit ngayon and they want to be preventive, no, about it. So, it is preventive medicine, no, that you can experience yourself. And in there, weekly po tayo. Every Saturday, 12 noon, dun tayo magkakaroon ng live Q&A. Okay? So, yun yung importante sa atin. And I thank you all, everybody, for watching. And when it comes to fruits, kailangan you have to know kung tama ba ito para sa inyo. Okay? And at the end of it all, kung meron man tayong fruits na kakainin, yun yung fruits that are in season, fruits that are naturally grown, yung hindi talaga ginawang isang plantasyon ng, say for example, ano ba? Plantasyon, meron ako, kakilala natin yan. Plantasyon ng pomelo, okay? Merong plantasyon ng saging, merong plantasyon ng mga ganyan, no? So, if that is done on a regular basis with all of these flower sprays, pesticides, and all that, we respect the business, okay? Because business, it's a different thing. But what you consume on a day-to-day basis, it will be up to you. Nasa sa inyo na yan. So, pwede na magbenta kayo niyan, na yun yung business niyo for you to live comfortably. But if you want to improve your health, maximize your life, na you get all of these advantage, but at the same time, hindi mo gino-jeopardize yung health mo, pwedeng ibenta mo or pamigay mo yung iyong sobra-sobrang fruits dyan, but you don't need to eat it every day. You should not oblige yourself na kainin lahat ng prutas na yan just because it is free or just because it is available. Sometimes, you are even better off fasting. Minsan, mas mabuti pang huwag kayong kumain kesa kumain kayo, and yet, at the end of it all, yun kayo pala ay magkakasakit lang. And what do we know now? What do we see? People in their late years spending all of their money just for medicine. They are no longer eating so much, but they just eat kasi kailangan ng gamot. But the medicines they are taking, kumakain sila ng 2, 3, 4 na beses sa isang araw, pero yung gamot nila 10 times a day. So, if that's the life that you are considering, so nasa sa inyo na yan. So, we are not against fruits, but we would just like you to know kung ano yung effect ng sobrang prutas. So, we are not saying na hindi na kayo kakain ng prutas. Of course, you can still eat it, pero eat it mindfully, with caution, with the knowledge na every time you eat fruits, it's not actually essential, but you are just feeding your feelings, your brain, or whatever. But nutritionally, yung lahat ng vitamins and minerals ng fruits, pwedeng makuha sa vegetables. Okay? Sa energy-wise, pwedeng makuha yan sa ulam. Okay? Pwedeng makuha sa karne, sa isda, sa manok, sa itlog. Kahit saan. So, those are just options for you. So, fruits, sabi natin, it's like nature's dessert. And, sa totoo lang, yung dessert po, hindi talaga siya essential para sa atin. Kasi noong unang panahon, hindi naman tayo nakakapagpili na yung kakainin ko ngayon, eto lang. Actually, hindi. Kung ano lang yung available noon, yun lang talaga yung kakainin natin. So, if we can try to mimic what our ancestors used to live, no, para maging physically healthy tayo, okay, we can maximize this life. Kasi yung unang noon, yung causes of death ng mga ninuno natin is mostly related to trauma, accidents, bleeding, o di kaya infection. Now, we have vaccines, we have antibiotics, meron na tayong helmet, meron na tayong medical insurance. So, all of those are added security. But what we are not taking care of is actually the most important thing, the very basic of all. It's our metabolism. It's our metabolic health. And if we only take good care of our metabolic health, makikita nyo talaga that everything else will become better. At lahat na yon, mamamaximize mo yung lahat ng impact na yon because you now know na you can live longer, healthy, and of course, no, at the top of your health, at mas magagawa mo kung ano man yung pinakagusto mo talagang gawin sa buhay. So, for those of you na hindi pa nakabasa ng book 3 natin with our books, no, meron dyan part na because it's about mental health and parang internal wellness, yung book 3 natin. Meron dyang part na if ever money, time, public appearance, obligations are not an issue, kung wala kang ganyang iisipin, ano yung gusto mong gagawin with your life? So, if there's no issue with money, if there's no issue with responsibility, if there's no issue with other things in the world, if there's even no issue with time, what do you want to do whenever you wake up and what you want to do every day of your life? Okay? Ano yung gusto mo talaga? Because that's the only thing that you truly want in your life. Yun talaga yung parang heart's desire mo. Okay? Whether to spend it with your family, or maybe to do some charity work, or maybe just to write songs, or maybe just to paint, or kung ano man yan. Try to ask that to yourself kung without all of this noise sa buhay at wala itong lahat ng mga responsibilities natin, ano yung pinaka gusto mong gawin. And know na if you will focus on that want, you will actually achieve it. Hindi mo kailangang isipin how you will be able to do it. Just ask, just know what you want, and ask for it, and it will be given to you. Slowly, you will just be surprised. As in, kayo po ay parang hindi mo talaga maisip how this can be possible. That's the power of positive thinking. That's the power of the universe. In a book, it's The Secret. Yun yung the secret niyan. It's your faith, yung paniniwala mo mismo. So that alone is very, very powerful, and you can do that. And you can start by claiming your health. Try to imagine that you are healing. Try to imagine that you are really improving. And then try to imagine na kung ano man yung mga sakit-sakit ninyo, yung bukol, or kung ano man nagpa-problema sa inyo, every day, it starts to shrink. Lumiliit until it is no longer there. So, pwede po yan, but you should help yourself. And kung nanonood kayo ng ating episode ngayon when it comes to fruits na hindi lang nakakapagpataas ng triglycerides, but nakakapagpataas din ng uric acid, yun yung another surprise doon. Akala natin yung karne lang yung nagpapataas ng uric acid. No, it can also be the fruits, okay? Because meron ding common pathway yung pag-process ng fructose sa liver natin na magkakaroon siya ng metabolite or byproduct na perfect din recipe para magpataas ng uric acid. And yes, I know iba rin yung issue ng mga naglo-low carb na tumataas yung uric acid. Usually nasa initial phase lang yan. You don't need to worry as long as wala kayong inflammation, walang flare up ng inyong gout, o hindi kayo inaatake ng kidney stones. Those are just transient hyperuricemia. But of course, if meron ng condition, again, we suggest you seek proper guidance, do consultations, have a coach, or join our masterclass para mas mag-guide kayo, because there are supplements that can help. So, thank you so much for joining me. Kakain na muna ako. I'll show you later my food. At meron akong egg. I think kompleto na yung look niya. And that's it for today. I'm actually studying right now. And yung break natin, because I miss you, and yung pag-share ko sa inyo is actually something that distracts me in my studies, but in a good way. So, I hope it is worth it also when it comes to you and your time. Maraming salamat, everybody. I'll see you, for those who are part of our masterclass, I'll see you tomorrow, 12 noon po tayo. Your questions, anything under low carb and fasting, kahit personal pa yan, sasagutin natin yan. I'll see you tomorrow. Maraming salamat po. Goodbye, everybody. Remember to stay low carb so that we all stay safe. Maraming salamat po. Thank you!